When we're designing for experiences, we are working with a great many intangible qualities that are very hard to communicate and even put your finger on. Mapping is a way that we can actually make those intangible things tangible. So when we take experiences and we take mapping, put them together, you have an experience map. So experience maps, journey maps, customer journey maps, these are all the same thing, but they all have common qualities. First off, they show a person who goes through an experience step by step. They have the beginning of an experience, they have a middle, and they have an end. These experiences are use experiences, using something to accomplish a goal, an activity. So in an experience map, we start out with a person who wants to order chocolate ice cream. They walk in the door, then they walk through the restaurant or the store. They walk up to the counter. Maybe they peruse the flavors. Maybe it's on a menu, or maybe it's down low where they have the ice creams right in front of them. Once they make a selection, they're waited on by an employee where, what would you like, ma'am? Oh, I would like the chocolate macadamia nut, please. So they do the ordering process. And step by step, they go through that process all the way to consuming the ice cream in the store, in this case. An experience map documents how is the person feeling and thinking at the very beginning of their interaction with the space. When they walk in the front door, at the beginning of the activity. How are they feeling? What are they thinking? What are they doing? And as they go through each step, walking through the store, perusing the ice cream, talking to an employee, getting an ice cream in their hand, paying, and then walking out, the experience map maps their feelings, thinking, and doing throughout the interaction. Here's the magic of the experience map. It allows you to communicate those intangibles with stakeholders and to make them real for yourself. They not only show what a person is doing, they show how a person is feeling and how they're thinking. This means that experience maps can be quite complicated, and there's no magic formula to them. On this page, you'll see many different examples, and I encourage you to explore them and choose the right formula for you. The key is an experience map. Show the activity clearly. What are the steps? What is the person going through? Show the person's feelings, their emotions, their frustrations, and map those out. And do it in great detail. Don't take anything for granted in a service. There are probably more steps in a service than you expect. So if you can make an experience map that shows a person going through those steps, you'll know two things. If you do an experience map before you design, you'll know how that person feels, maybe in a service that's not working very well. If you do an experience map after you've designed something, after you have implemented a new way of ordering ice cream or a new store design or lighting or whatever you're putting in place, you'll be able to map out, here's how our design improved it, or here's how our proposed design will improve the experience. If you can map out how things are now and how things will be because of our design, it will be a lot easier for you to communicate with stakeholders to tell them, this is why we need experience design. This is why we need research. And this is the payoff of taking the time to focus on experiences. Let's dig into some experience mapping. Don't forget the details. Show every emotion and walk everyone through your service steps in your map so they will be on board every step of the way.